What's up? What's up? Welcome back to the Uncle Ro Talk podcast. We're back at it. Drew, Ray, what's going on?
All
What's up?
good.
What's up, fellas?
Look,
What's up? What's up? So, how about your Lakers, Ray? What's going on with LeBron
Oh,
and them?
we're starting with that.
Oh, we're not
I
messing
was
around. I mean,
about to at least start it off with with a little congratulations to Indiana
okay.
University
I might be wearing this
yeah,
national
hat
championship.
all. I might be wearing this hat all year until they get beat. Someone dethrones them. This hat is staying on. Let's put it that way. And thank you.
Shout out to
Appreciate it.
Indiana.
Yes, sir.
Pulled it off.
The
All right,
greatest story in college football history. The greatest story.
now on to the Lakers.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk
So,
about? My Lakers.
well, I mean, I think they're going to continue to struggle like I've predicted. LeBron coming back versus LeBron being out of the lineup early in the season. Huge difference. Huge difference. You've seen what the Lakers were doing without him. You see their momentum. Now I think it's off the court locker room issue too now because of what Rich Paul has been talking about on his podcast, which is ridiculous, calling out Austin Reeves, talking about starting a rumor about, hey, or, sparking a fire about, hey, we should trade Austin Reeves. And then Austin Reeves' agent comes and checks him. We all heard about that. Fast forward, now you have Jeanie Buss exposing her feelings this past few years about LeBron, and it's matching what everyone is feeling and seeing. So that's what I'm seeing.
All right. Where do I begin
Wow.
with this?
Here we
I think
go. Brace
there's
yourself.
a few. All right. There's a few things that have contributed to this, which we didn't see in the beginning of the year. One is the disappearance of Deandre Ayton. When Deandre Ayton was playing like a number one pick in the first month of the season, I would even say maybe first month and a half, he was, I guess, making up for some of Braun's defensive shortfalls there. So DeAndre Ayton has now reverted back to, I would say, prime DeAndre Ayton with the Trailblazers. He has just been complete trash. No motor, no IQ, no nothing. The only thing he's done for us over the last few weeks is pull Dennis Schroeder away from Luca when they got into it a few weeks back. So I'm ready. Let's jettison DeAndre out of here. I think, like we've said before in the past, I think Braun's days are numbered. I was really hanging my hat on trade with the Warriors. All the Warriors' assets seem to be getting hurt.
Yeah.
First Jimmy Butler, now Jonathan Kuminga. I still think Braun's gone at the trade deadline.
You think he?
The
I hope
the
so.
writing's on the wall. I think it's who are the other teams that are going to join the Lakers and the Warriors in this multi-team trade, right?
Yeah,
So
that's going to be interesting to see.
that's where I see it. You got the trade deadline coming up in a few weeks. I was scouring the stats, looking to see who we could pick up. Is it Trey Murphy? Trey Murphy and Herb Jones. Is it Keon Ellis from Sacramento? There. It's slim pickings.
Yeah,
there was even a talk of a possible of Giannis.
we could
out.
trade Bron for some draft picks up until the next 10 years. But I think the number one priority is to just get Bron out of there first. I mean, he's the only factor that contributed to the downfall of the Lakers when he came back. Everyone was excited from the beginning of the season. Everyone was excited how well they were playing. I think they were 15-2 in the beginning of the season until he came back. Everyone, all the Laker fans, everyone, the NBA, anyone that knows basketball is watching the games like, oh, the Lakers are a serious threat this season to compete for the championship the way they're playing, right? They have an amazing backcourt and Austin Reeves and Luca, one of the best players in the league. And then LeBron comes back. So, yes, we can blame Ayton, but there wasn't an issue until Bron came back. Ayton was a part of that run in the beginning of the season as well. I mean, it could be, for my experience in a locker room, it could be it's just no one likes to play with LeBron. He's affecting the locker room. You know, it's team chemistry is built outside of the court. And I just don't think they trust this guy. So, that's my feeling about the situation.
I try not to let all the no cloud my thinking when it comes to the Lakers. There's always gonna be noise with the Lakers, right? Regardless, franchise, regardless whether they're good, they're bad, they're always gonna have a target against them because the Lakers generate news. They always generate news one way or the other.
But I think that's why
So
LeBron came to LA. That's his sole purpose is coming to LA because he thrives. He wants attention, right? Everyone knows that LeBron seeks attention. That's probably the main priority why he came and signed with the Lakers. But Laker fans are looking for championships. They're looking for to keep the tradition alive of winning banners. Us fans came from the Magic days, Kareem, Worthy, Cooper, to Kobe, Shaq. We're not worried about all the noise and the outside antics. We're focused on winning, hanging another banner up. You go from the Kobe Lakers era to the LeBron antic era of, trying to control the narrative and personnel and coaching personnel, who he wants in. That's so not who we are traditionally. A Laker fan is not about that. You know? You go from Pat Riley to Phil Jackson. I mean, we're about winning. That's how you gain good publicity, and that's why we have publicity is because we've won. And now we're bringing in the wrong publicity with LeBron being there and doing all these circus acts. That's the problem, man. That's why a lot of Laker fans are like, they're checked out. I mean, what
Well,
do you think, Drew?
are you guys factoring about the GM back then, right? We talk about all those great eras and great years, but we kind of
Jerry
trusted the
West,
leadership, right?
right?
And do you guys trust Palinka? I mean, you got to look at who is making these decisions because the fans, I think, again, they're the number one analysts. You guys make such great observation. I mean, I think all the fans are noticing these things, but who has the power to make these changes, and do we trust their decision? Because
Definitely,
it seems like
definitely upper
that
management.
right, the pattern of us kind of declining is based on the leadership, transfer as well.
Definitely
this is
leadership
what I see.
is
Yeah.
is a main factor, but I think because they had some weak leadership these past years, that that kind of that weak leadership is how Clutch and LeBron was able to dictate decision making within the Lakers organization. You know what I mean? That weak leadership. And yes,
Yeah,
they're at fault. They're at fault. Absolutely.
with
I'm
the vacuum,
saying
right? The
it's the
power
vacuum,
vacuum.
but I'm really emphasizing the intent of LeBron and his camp. His intent was never to it was never about the Lakers hanging banners. It was more so about my legacy. The banners and if we win, that's just a bonus. But it was more about I'm coming in LA for my legacy, for LeBron. Whereas imagine Kobe, how he approaches this. He's like, I'm trying to win. I'm not worried about Kobe. I'm trying to win, win, win. My legacy will be secured if and when we win. Period. That's the difference of mindset. You know what I mean?
Well, you mentioned the news about Jeanie Buss. I mean, her statements. Again, if she knew about this, if this was her feeling, she's expressed her feelings of back then or back when, but yet nothing was done about it. I mean, that's the point. It's like if the leadership recognize the same things that the fans recognize, but they're still they're still hesitant,
100.
then we're kind of stuck. We're kind of stuck with what we have.
This is what I see happening, right? We all know that LeBron, my feelings, LeBron's either going to get traded this year or he's going to ride it out this year. Not coming back next year. If Rob Pelinka doesn't do something that's going to move the needle at the trade deadline here, new ownership I think is gonna let him go. Yeah, I know Jeannie's staying on as governor for the
Hmm.
next few years. That was part of the deal, but I think there was already the reports that you had Dodger executives also getting integrated with the Laker
Organization
management.
management.
So I think that's going to raise the bar, higher. But I think if Rob doesn't make a deal that's going to move the needle, and I think the deal that's going to move the needle is shipping Braun and Bronny out, along with Dalton Connect and a first rounder, and give us the assets back that can help us make the run.
Well,
Because right
yeah,
now, you talked about the defense, right? The Laker defense. The Lakers don't have great defenders. You don't necessarily need 5 great defenders out there, but you need 5 people who can play great team defense together. And right now, that's been lacking.
well,
We
okay,
saw a
like,
little bit of it in the beginning of the year.
okay, so defense. How is it that your defense got worse when LeBron came back? Yeah, of course we know Luka's not a good defender, and some other guys aren't really defensive minded, but your defense was holding up when LeBron wasn't there. Your defense was defensing enough to win games for you. So when LeBron came back, a so-called defender, he comes back, your whole team defense chemistry breaks down. There's so many holes in your defense. And then we're supposed to give LeBron an out. Oh, well, he's 41. What? Retire then if you can't play defense. You know what I mean? It's just you can't have it both ways. Your defense got worse when he came back. The stats show it. And he's out there, he's not rotating. When a team scores, head down, he's pouting. You know what that means when he's pouting. Every time he puts his head down, that means, come on, man, rotate. You're supposed to block that. He's blaming his teammates. And every time situations happen like that, nobody trusts each other. Like there is no trust on the team anymore. It's a trickle down effect too. You're LeBron. You're supposed to be the leader. And this is coming from you, your body language. It just, if I'm a teammate, maybe a second year guy, third year guy, I'm looking at my leader like, well, dang, if he's acting like that, oh, I'm just in it for a job, for a paycheck. You know what I mean? This is not a winning element. This is not a winning environment.
Yeah.
So a lot of that blame goes to him, in my opinion, Ray.
Well, just him, or again, there's coaches, there's GM, there's a structure that's supposed to make sure
Okay.
these things. That's what I'm
Okay.
saying.
There are coaches. He brought them in. This is the coaching staff that he brought in. And a
That's our
buddy of
dilemma.
his,
That's the dilemma that we
co-host,
have.
his co-host on their podcast. This is his co-host who he assigned as their coach. So yes, there's accountability, but you notice how everything is revolved around who? This one person, LeBron James. He created this environment. Yes, there was weak management that was influenced to even bring him in. And I don't know what the deals were behind closed doors. Part of the deal was probably like, well, let me have some say into personnel, into coaching personnel. Well, this is the fruit of all those decisions that were made. It's a train wreck.
Well, do you think the timing of Jeanie Buss's revelation or stories, maybe there's a reason for that? Why all of a sudden?
What do you think, Ray? I do. I think there is. I think this is a move to get LeBron out. It's kind of a public pressure, you know, through
Yeah,
media.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's kind of
I,
getting the
I think
blessing.
so. The Lakers did Braun, like, they did him well by drafting Bronny, right? He wanted to play with his son, and I think that's where Jeannie was kinda like, I guess, at this point, bothered, hurt, whatever, like, "Hey, we did you right because you're part of the Laker," but yet, he hasn't reciprocated, I guess,
Well, I wasn't surprised.
y
I was never surprised how Bronny was gonna play. I knew what his stats was in college. We all watched his games in college. We all seen what he was doing in college, and you expect him to do what in the NBA? Like, he didn't earn it. We know how he got that spot, got a good contract. He bypassed so many other guys in college that was better than him statistically, everything, all down the line. So many guys, even his teammate, Boogie Ellis, was their star player, and he's not even in the league. They play the same position. I mean, it's a joke. It's a circus, and we all knew that. We all seen that. I don't know who on earth believed or had hope that Bronny was going to be some amazing NBA player. That's ridiculous. And if he was to ever even be that, especially that early, how could you respect it? He didn't earn it. How could you respect it? He had the media behind him. It's ridiculous. This can't be the environment that is supposed to elevate, the young kids and motivate the young kids to get into this game. This can't be that environment. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think the timing is intentional. I think something's gonna happen soon because again, she put it out there kind of confessing that they didn't have the Lakers, traditional pursuit of, championship as their main focus. There's
Yeah.
deals, that was made. There's, political moves. It wasn't the I guess the mission statement of the Lakers, right, to win championships. So exposing that, I think, is setting something up for kind of it's putting pressure on the management that is current because now they're going to be like, oh, okay, it gives them an excuse to make these changes now because it's
Right.
like, okay, like this was a great plan to begin with. It was like kind of forced. So I think that there's a reason why she's bringing that out.
Right. Right. He did Russell Westbrook dirty too. That's why him and Russell Westbrook don't even get along. Well, Russell doesn't like him. Russell said that publicly. He said, he doesn't
publicly
deal with fake people.
that yeah, that trade should have never happened. That trade should have never happened. Us letting go of Alex Caruso so that we could sign a deal to Taylor Horton Tucker, who's a Rich Paul client,
Yeah.
who's a bust.
He's
Point.
in Europe right now. He's in
We
Europe.
we we
He's in
had the
Europe right
pieces after, we had the pieces to run it back, and just I think it fell apart definitely with that, and bringing Russ in that was not the right move for the team.
Well, that's why I heard.
Speaking of, like how do we fix this? Right? Who do you see out there as potential landing spots for LeBron? Are
I
some
don't know.
potential trade pieces
It
that
depends
the
what he's asking
Lakers
for.
could get?
It depends, what LeBron is asking for and his camp wants, right? I know they always want to have the high point. They want to have leverage, but you don't really have much leverage to dictate anything anymore to other teams, especially. I don't think a lot of teams are wanting to risk that. They've seen what's played out in LA. They're also watching and hearing what's going on. So I don't think there's going to be many teams willing to take LeBron at this point because they know what comes with it. And what comes with it is a whole lot of baggage, like Bronny and maybe a coach. And if they're about winning, they're not going to pull the trigger on this. So I don't see many teams. And then if you're looking at a marketing advantage by getting LeBron, and I don't think he has that power anymore either because of the backlash he's getting. We all see it, we all hear it. I don't think his star power is what it was. His influence is not what it used to be, right? It was to where he's making
It's all about
statements.
legacy.
Yeah, to where he's making statements on interviews and, post-game interviews like, well, I think he's throwing out Jay-Z quotes like, they'll basically saying, you know, "They'll miss me when I'm gone," type thing, right? It's like, for you to say things like that tells me that you are also hearing the backlash, and it's kind of affecting you internally, right? He's starting to realize that, "Hey, my power is not what it used to be. I'm not influencing people like I thought I would be or I used to." You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Drew. What you
No,
saying?
no, I think it's a legacy thing when you look at, the brand itself. Everybody likes a complete book, and I think he's gonna finish his legacy back in Cleveland. I mean, he's waiting for something to happen where that is a possibility because it just makes sense from a brand standpoint and a legacy standpoint. I think it's so important to him. His whole legacy thing is important. That's why he's chasing all these records and because I think he knows he's not the GOAT. I mean, that's my opinion, and so he wants to kind of complete this story one way or
Yeah,
another.
I agree, but the
That
the
doesn't
Cleveland
get
owner the Cleveland owner doesn't they're not on good terms, are they?
Daniel. No, I'm
Gilbert.
thinking Daniel Gilbert. I was about to say Daniel Snyder, but that's the Washington Commanders.
But yeah,
Yeah, the thing is, if that's going to happen, that's happening next year.
yeah.
He'll play his contract out.
But
I want the
how does that
needle moved.
happen? But how does that happen, Ray? When the owner why would the owner he doesn't even like you, I don't think, right? Like, how does that happen?
There's always a power
I
play
don't know.
somewhere.
I don't know. I don't know. One thing you do see in Cleveland is they're underachieving this year as opposed to
Yeah,
last year. So I still think the landing spot for Braun, where he waives his no trade clause, is the Warriors. That's really the only landing spot I potentially see for him.
yeah.
This just don't know how they're gonna uh,
Well,
get it done.
I think he's gonna move to somewhere where he has to win a championship to kind of have that nice story, kind of nice closure, or go back to Cleveland. And even if he doesn't win a championship, he can close there. And there's leverages, there's other things that can make it happen, favors. It could be, just out of respect. It could be good for the Cleveland organization, just, maybe making statues and museums. And I mean, it could be a monetary, you know, um, attraction.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a championship anymore because again, I mean, how long will it take for a team to, build around him again? I don't think he's got that
He's
much
not
time.
winning a championship. That's no way in hell.
Right.
Let's just get him off the team
That part.
right now. Let us
That
bring us,
part.
give us some rebounding. Someone who can rebound, who's got a motor, who's got some size. That um, that's what I'm looking for.
Man,
For so
I
that
bet
then
you
we can make a run.
as soon as he's off the team, the whole energy of the team is gonna be different. They're gonna be playing different. They're gonna be
Definitely.
winning. I guarantee you, it only takes one player to ruin a team. I'm telling you. And it doesn't have to be it could be the best. He could be really good, the best player. But it's how he's connecting with everyone, how he's carrying himself, his energy. And if his teammates, the organization not buying into it, it's not gonna work. It just won't work. And I guarantee you'll see a change as soon as he's gone. I guarantee you. Guaranteed.
I agree.
Hey, transition to some NCAA news, fellas. So what do you guys think about this player, Charles Bediako from Alabama? So he played in the NBA and the NCAA ruled that he is eligible to play for Alabama again because he used to play for Alabama. I mean, what do you guys think about this, Ray? You pulled him up. What do you think about it too,
So
man? What do you
yeah,
think?
so what I know about him that he went undrafted in the 2023 draft. He joined the Spurs for the NBA Summer League in 2023. Um, he did his deal was converted to a two-way contract, so he he did then part of the NBA, but he was eventually waived by the Spurs. He didn't actually play for the Spurs. He never even got game for the Spurs, but he did make 11 appearances with the Spurs G League team. the Austin Spurs.
And he
There.
signed a 2-year contract, right? It's sorry, a 2-way contract. He signed a 2-way contract
He was on a
with.
two-way. He was on a two-way, but then didn't Spurs.
Did he dress any games though for the Spurs?
That I'm not sure. I don't think so, because he ended
Okay.
up tearing his meniscus,
Mm.
and then he was waived
And how old is he,
at
Ray?
that time. How old is? See, he's 23
Okay.
right now.
So he signed a 2-year contract. He signed a 2-year contract with the Spurs,
Yeah.
which he made some money, 23 years old, and now he's going back to Alabama to play. I still think it's ridiculous. I think once you've committed pro, you can't just go back and play in college. I think it's just, where do we draw the line? You know, where do we draw the line? So what about these high school seniors that are getting recruited and then becoming college freshmen? Where do they fit in college? Because it used to be for them. Now we're incentivizing and recruiting guys that's already had pro contracts. It's a nightmare. And I feel sorry for coaches coaching in this environment, because I just think it'd be so difficult. You'd have to change your recruiting tactics and how much money you have, your school has, what the budget is. It's a mess. It's a mess. I can't even keep up. You know what I mean? What do you think, Drew?
Well, Coach Hurley, he said he's really considering leaving coaching
I
because
don't
of this
blame him.
controversy, because of the, eligibility controversy that's, again, keeps popping up. I mean, I don't think he's the only one, right? There's been more cases of people going to the G League and, playing abroad and then coming back. And I think it's also monetary. The whole process has
100%.
gotten out of control.
100%.
Um, Donald Trump, he even said that. It's gotten to that point where Trump is making a comment about all this stuff that's happening in football and in basketball, because the schools are no longer able to sustain, or they're not going to get the money that they used to, for different reasons. The cost of things are gonna change, and so they're not gonna be able to maintain paying all these students and these programs that kind of money, which is pressuring the programs to do whatever they can to have a successful program and make more money, maybe through sponsors. But it becomes, again, it takes away that whole realness and amateur status of the process. These are
But
kids. These are kids that are still wanting to be the best they can be, and you're injecting all this money and politics, and it doesn't make any sense.
well, when you turn amateur college sports into professional sports by throwing all this money into it, you're
Right.
changing the objective. It used to be to win a championship, to get better, to build, to grow and win
The team.
championships. Now it's about, well, how much can I make? How much money? Who's going to give me the
Individual.
most? Who's going to pay me the most money? That's where I'm going to go. It's not
Right.
about the program, it's not about winning a championship, it's not about growing as a person, as a player, none of that. It's all about who's going to pay me the most money. And that will change the whole dynamic of college sports, which we are seeing in real time. It's sad. It's affecting everything too. It's affecting, how you're talking to high school players, how you're mentoring high school players, college players, the advice you're giving them. It's changing everything. How you're developing them, what you're teaching them. It's changing everything.
Well, can you imagine the coaches? They talk to their players like parents, right? They're gonna discipline them, they're gonna correct them, and it's all about kind of like tough love. Can you imagine if your kids can just say, "You know what, mom, dad, I'm out of here." You know, you're trying to teach them lessons because they can't go anywhere because they're your children, and in this system, it's the same thing. Like they can just say, "I'm out of here," so you can't talk to
And
me
they
that way,
do.
and they do, and they leave, and so you can't even build skills and character.
Exactly. So, they're saying, well, I don't really like the way coach is talking to me. I'm just going to leave. I make more money than him. I make more money than coach. I don't need this. You know what I'm saying? I don't need him trying to tell me what to do. I'm out of here.
Right.
And then
Hmm.
he transfers. He goes to in a situation where it's similar, and he's like, "Well, I'm out of here. I'm leaving this too." And it just creates a whole bunch of entitled young people that can't deal with adversity, that wants shortcuts in every situation they're in. They're looking for the shortcut. And then they're supposed to go into the real world after college and be in our society making great decisions, being leaders. It's a train wreck.
And they're gonna carry that mentality into the professional realm.
100%.
So if you can't be
100%.
taught in the, in the amateur side, you're not gonna be taught even in the profession. You're gonna be entitled there too.
100%, man. 100%. They're gonna end up being coaches at the high school level, AAU level someday, and then they're just gonna recruit the same way they're gonna recruit with the same values they had when they were players, looking for the easy route, looking for the best player or the best situation, the easiest situation for them. That's how they're gonna recruit. That's how they're gonna mentor the next generation of kids. And these are your new mentors.
Yeah.
Don't
And it's
expect the
damaging the
society to be.
sport.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, so it's not a good situation, and I think the NCAA has to make some changes, man. They have to really change a lot of these rules with transfers and eligibility, and yeah, it just there has to be some there has to be a cap to all these things, man.
I think there
Let
will be.
let me circle back over to Charles Bediako. So the NCAA has actually denied eligibility for
Yeah,
him.
because yeah,
It's the courts,
they found a
the
judge.
Alabama courts, who has
Yeah.
instituted a temporary restraining order on this, which has allowed him to re-enroll in Alabama and play for
Wow.
Alabama. So I think that story is gonna maybe play itself out when they get this sorted out.
How does that work
The
though?
N
How
the
does that
NCAA's
work?
position is
Yeah, how does that work? How come
NCAA's
the
yeah,
NCAA has no leverage on that?
it's the courts put a temporary restraining order.
No, there was another
He's
story.
actually trying to use the legal system to buy him some time
No,
Wow.
that's it. There's
and
another
let it.
story, and you can maybe look this up too, right? There's an Ohio player that happened to, and so they were shopping around, and they found a judge who was a Ohio graduate, Ohio State graduate, and she
Wow.
was able to hold that denial by NCAA because they wanted it to be reviewed again. So by having it reviewed, it kind of temporary hold everything off, and he could play while they're reviewing it. So I think they found this loophole now, and I think that's exactly what they did with this Alabama situation. Because now everybody's gonna say that. Everybody's gonna say, we get the denial from the NCAA, and now all we just need to do is find a judge that's gonna temporarily review it, request a review. And while
Hmm.
they're reviewing it, they can play.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
So
a
going back
mess.
to the yeah, yeah. It was a mess. Going back to now the controversies of the transfer portal, right? We talked about Indiana earlier in this show. Shout out for them for winning the national championship. But Indiana has taken full advantage of the transfer portal. That's how they were able to build their team. And the two starting quarterbacks in the national championship game, okay, both Fernando Mendoza and Carson Beck came from the transfer portal last year.
Yeah.
From an entertainment standpoint, it made for great entertainment.
It did. Like Indiana though, Ray, like all their transfers were not even 4 or 5-star transfers. These are guys no one wanted. Miami did Mendoza wanted to walk on at Miami. He offered to walk on at Miami. Miami said no. So, and plus, and also Indiana's budget was not even in the top 10 list of colleges with the spending budget. As far as the spending budget, Indiana was not even in the top 10 list in college. So, this is smart recruiting. He's obviously studied. Coach Signetti and the recruiting teams all obviously studied which player to get that's not a 4 or 5-star player with our budget, with our small budget, and we're recruiting the right guys that want to buy into this system. So I think it worked out for him because he really did his homework. He's recruiting guys that are not 4 and 5-star athletes. So that tells me that these guys are not even entitled. These guys still have a lot to prove, right? And he's bringing in guys that have a lot to prove, and he's giving them confidence and buying into the system. So this is a situation where it's an odd situation because we've never seen this kind of brilliance as far as recruiting, right?
Yeah.
Especially in this environment, where guys are getting paid super amount of money, getting the best 5-star guys out there. Well, Indiana they didn't roll with that model. They took a different path, and it ended up in a national
Maybe to
championship.
build this year's, or maybe to build last year's team, but they got some big names coming in
Well,
from the transfer
now they
portal
do. Now they do.
this
Yes,
year. So
absolutely.
let's not forget that he's not sticking to the same MO that got him there by bringing in 2-star
Well,
recruits.
I
But just
also
with any program, once you grow the program, you're gonna
Exactly.
have interest
It once you
for
grow the
people.
program, it's easy. It's easier to recruit, right? Now players are coming to you, whereas before he had to knock on doors. Now players are wanting to play for Indiana. And obviously winning a national championship, I would assume your budget is bigger now, right? You have
Oh yeah,
endorsements, a bunch
100%.
of a bunch of deals. So, I mean, salute to him, right? But he did it. He proved it without all those situations, without the budget, without the 4 or 5-star athletes. That is incredible.
Well, it's also I heard a take where he didn't recruit 4 or 5-star players, but he recruited like 5-year, 5-year students, like people that are in college for 5, 6 years. These were much
No, I mean,
older players, much older
so that's a
players.
myth. That's also a myth, Drew. That's also a myth. Miami's average age was older than Indiana. So Indiana's average age was, I think, and a half, 23.4, and Miami's was like 24.2 or something like that. So that's a myth, Drew. No.
No, I'm not comparing it to Miami. I'm just saying in general. Again, these are the loopholes that exist. That's fair. It's fair and it's legal, but that's what changes the amateur sport because these loopholes will allow you to do things whether it's even if it's not getting 4 or 5-star players, but you're getting adults. Like these
Yeah.
players are
Yep.
older than
Yep.
players in the NFL. So
For
what are
me,
we
you
doing?
got to cap. For me, you got to cap it at 24. I would say cap it at 24. The age if you're over 24, you can't play college sports. That's my cap right there. 23, I think you're okay, right? Some guys graduate at 19 from high school, 18 and a half. 23, 24, okay. Well, and then you have a redshirt year, say you have a redshirt year, medical redshirt, whatever. Or a transfer, 24, and that's it. That's what I say as far as eligibility. Anything over that, you're an adult. You have no business being in college.
College
Funny,
sports.
I posted something about junior college. I don't know if you've seen it. When I when I was a freshman in junior college, our All American was 25 years old. In junior college, I got there. I was like, "He's how old?" He said he's 25. I was like, "What?" I was a kid, man. I was a baby, man, fresh out of high school. This dude was a grown man, 2 kids, 25 years old, dunking on everything. Like, oh man, yeah. And now if you're in junior college, you don't lose eligibility. So he would have had 4 more years in today's environment. He would have had 4 more years after that.
You should try to go back to school, bro.
Man, I'm thinking about it. Man. I still got 2 years eligibility. Oh man, just because, right? Just because.
Yeah,
So
why not?
I'm good for 5. I'm good for 5 minutes a game. No defense whatsoever. Don't ask me to play defense. I'll spot up in the corner, and I'll jog corner to corner. That's it. That's all I'm good for, bro.
There you
Maybe
go.
hit a three. Yeah, I'll give you a 3 or 2, but no defense. Hey, speaking of basketball players, though, man. Speaking of basketball, okay, so I want to talk about there's like 6 freshmen in NCAA right now, American born, American players holding it down. And this is probably a lot of people say this is one of the best freshman classes we've seen in a long time. And the reason why we're talking about this is because, you know, there's a lot of people out there saying that the European model is better. how they produce players, how they bring up their youth. Their youth system is better than the American system. Now we have some things that I don't agree with here in the States, like the AAU's kind of watered down throughout the years, and it's all money driven now. But our our development system here in America is still the best in the world. Our players are still the best in the world. Our college system is still the most competitive, best athletes at that age in the world. Way better than Europe. I mean, like this past weekend alone, I mean, you seen so many record-breaking freshmen this past weekend, like yesterday. AJ DeBanza, I think he had like 40 something. Kingston Flemings for Houston, he had 42. Darius Acuff for Arkansas, another freshman. These are legit freshmen. D. Peterson for Kansas, which a lot of people say will be the number one draft pick in the NBA for Kansas. D. Peterson for Kansas. Cam Boozer, Carlos Boozer's son. He's a freshman. He's one of the best in the country. Keaton Wagler for Illinois had 40 something against Purdue, beat them. I mean, we're seeing so much talent, American born talent, and they're young freshmen in college that is dominating. And these guys are all NBA ready players today. It's pretty refreshing to see these guys and how elite they are at that age and level. It's amazing. Shout out to USA basketball. This is the future of USA basketball.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, man. So like
Exciting.
that European argument, man, no, it's not even close. Not even close. Those Europeans, like I've always said, they come here to get better. Luka upped his game when he was here. Jokic upped his game when he was here. Giannis upped his game when he was here. Dirk Nowitzki upped his game when he was here. They were good over there, but when they came here, they were installed with a American "I'm a dog" mentality. I'm getting this bucket. They were. It was not going to be like that if they just would have stayed in Europe. It's a different game. That dog mentality is built here in America. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out, man.
In that freshman class, are there any Asians in that freshman class?
There's no Asians in that freshman class. We have some Asians in NCAA. We got a handful of Asians in NCAA right now, though. We got a kid at Oregon, Lee. This is another situation. So he's the starting point guard. He's like 6'5". He's starting point guard at Oregon University, Chinese point guard, last name Lee. This kid played professionally in the CBA in China already. He's coming from the CBA. I know he's only like 22 years old or 21, 22, but still, like, he's a pro player. So he's allowed to play. He's actually doing pretty well. And then of course you have Xavier Lee, a Canadian. He's Canadian. I think one of his parents is Korean. He's playing at Florida. He's the kid that's signed with SPO. Free guard. He's having a decent year. Not shooting the best percentages. Florida's a pretty good team, defending national champions. They're up and down this year, but he's crafty. He can get to the basket. He's a pretty good passer. Now his shooting percentage is not where it should be, but I think that can change throughout the season. But yeah, I mean he's a pretty good player, man.
Oh, that's why they're
And,
coming
and,
in there.
and yeah, and there's a lot of Filipino Americans, Philams, all throughout the NCAA, a bunch of them. So, and then, there's a couple Filipino born players that are in high school and or prep school right now that have a bright future. Like Kiefer Alas, he's a guard. He's here in the States. He's at a prep school, I believe. And Andy Gamau, he's at a prep school as well here in the States. And, I think they have a shot at making the NBA with proper development and being trained here and playing against American competition at that age. I think they have a serious shot. Now, Kiefer, he has some good size. His father's a coach. His father has some good size on him. So I think Kiefer is going to be pretty tall, and he's a guard. What makes Kiefer good is he's a really, really elite shooter. He's not the quickest player, but he's a coach's son and he's high IQ player. I think he's going to develop his quickness and strength and athleticism a little bit more by being here in America and understanding how to play against athletic guys. But he's gifted with an amazing ability to shoot the ball at a high, high level. And I think he has a shot. Now, Andy Gamal, he's crafty, he's quick, he's athletic. He's not as big as Kiefer. I don't think he'll I don't at the end of the day, I don't think he'll end up being as big as Kiefer as far as height, but he's athletic, shifty, he's bouncy, and he just has that swag about him that, you know, if he can develop a consistent shot, knockdown shooter off the dribble and off the catch, I think he has a shot to be in the NBA. At least an opportunity, because you got guys like the Japanese guard that's at the Bulls. And what's his name, Ray? I got a brain freeze.
Yuki.
Yuki.
Yeah,
Yuki.
Yuki.
You got Yuki. Yuki's 5'8", and he's quick. He can shoot. Elite passing ability, but he's 5'8", you know, and he has that opportunity. He has the opportunity, and he's in the NBA because he played very well during the World Cup. He really, really shined in the World Cup. But guys like Kiefer Alas and Andy Gamal, I think if they can be elite at passing, Gamal step up his shooting, turn his shooting ability into an elite shooter, I think they both have a shot because they're obviously not 5'8". They're bigger than 5'8". So yeah, but it's such a game changer for them, for Kiefer and Andy to be here in the States training and developing and playing against this type of competition and being in this environment. It's such a game changer. That's going to level up their game tremendously. It's accelerated their growth process. And I believe those two have a real, real shot in the NBA. Yeah. And I'm sure
Nice.
there's going to be other players in Asia too, man. There's going to be other players in Asia that's going to pop up that's like, you know, that really has a shot in the NBA. Because I think that's a dynamic that the NBA is missing right now, is that Asian guard. And Yuki's on a two-way, I believe, right, Ray? He's on a two-way contract.
Mhm.
So he hasn't had the right amount of minutes to showcase what he's capable of. But I believe there's going to be somebody that's going to break through from the Asian market as a guard, not a Yao Ming. We've seen that before, because that game doesn't even, that position doesn't even exist anymore. I believe we're going to see a guard. Yeah. Oh, there's a kid for Navy too. I think a Korean kid for Navy University that's also an elite shooter. He's doing his thing. He plays for Navy. I forgot his name. There's a Mongolian kid that plays for Vanderbilt, I think. Maybe not Vanderbilt. I forgot. There's a Mongolian kid. He played at USF, University of San Francisco. But yeah, there's some Asians out there, man.
Let's try to track him and maybe put some highlights on some of our podcasts.
To our Filipino followers out there, put it down in the comments. Who do you guys see that's up and coming?
Yeah. We're looking at a Filipino-born player that has potential to make the NBA. Shoot it down in the comments. Is anybody else that we're missing that you guys think that has a shot? Let us know.
Cool.
Until the next episode, this is Uncle Ro with my guy Ray and Drew. We're signing out. Peace out.
Peace.